Welcome back to another episode of Lost in the Farmer's Market Garden Shorts, where today with the Stick of Destiny, we're looking at this lovely specimen here. And some of you will guess certainly what it is. Its scientific name is Ajuga reptans. Its specific variety is Caitlan's giant. It's commonly known as bugleweed, and the giant part is very obvious. This plant is so big that you might mistake it for one of those bronzy lettuces. It's easily 3 or 4 times bigger than your traditional bugleweed, and it is a unique plant that we're discussing today. Now, it is in the Lamiaceae family, which means that it is essentially related to mint. It is a mint. It has the square stems, and it has the two other traits that say, yeah, that might be a mint. So, let me start with the Latin real quick. Ajuga means bugle in Latin, which bugleweed, yeah, you could see that. Reptans comes from repto, meaning crawling or creeping, which it certainly does that. And that goes into why it's in the mint family. It spreads, its stems spread by rooting where they touch and producing new plants. It also seems to spread by seed somehow, at least the normal bugleweed does anyway. This one is neatly confined until I understand its full properties. I've had this one for a few years, and finally it got this nice tree pot, and if you notice, it's doing really well. It's starting to come up the side here, and I can't wait for it to bloom next year because its blooms are also 3 to 4 times bigger than your traditional bugleweed. But I don't know what it'll do if it escapes. Will it take over a section of garden? I don't know. There are no invasive warnings for it technically. But anyway, it is native to Ireland and Great Britain, but it seems to be doing just fine here in Zone 8A in North Carolina. Its USDA zones are 3A to 9B, and it is a hardy perennial. In some places, it may die back down to the ground, but in other places, it may remain evergreen all winter like you see here. Its soil pH preference is 3.7 to 6.5, which is a pretty good range, really. That's very adaptable. Its exposure is partial sun to shade. Now, in the southeast, where it gets laser hot in the middle of the summer, of course, it's going to need some protection and extra moisture. Alternately, the normal-sized bugleweed looks pretty sad in the hot dries of August, early September, and late July. So there is that. This one doesn't seem to, but then again, it's in a giant pot in a semi-shady location. Its height can be 18 inches to 2 feet tall. Yeah, that I'd like to see, but I'm sure that actually is the flower stalks included, which are quite big. They're several times larger than your traditional bugleweed blooms. The width can be 8 inches to 1 foot per plant. Now, this is technically a cluster of plants growing together as the mint do. But an individual plant has some pretty significant spread, and it is a really great ground cover, but it does not tolerate foot traffic, much like its smaller relative. It has other nicknames: ground pine, bugle, carpet bugleweed, St. Lawrence plant, or as we alternate, Ajuga and or bugleweed. Ajuga, won't you? Anyway, it's typically used as a ground cover, as I mentioned before, and while Ajuga nipponensis is a medical herb, Ajuga reptans is stated to be poisonous in multiple publications that are of credible nature. The flowers of Ajuga reptans do attract many pollinators, so there is that. I mean, it's a mint. It's going to produce nectar and pollen, and, the little pollinators come in and have a little pollen orgy. So, good. There are many variegated types of bugleweed out there, actually. This is just the giant version, but there's chocolate chip, which is a bronze-brown color in the middle of winter, burgundy glow, fancy finch, Princess Leia, which is green-white. I think I want to get some of that Star Wars action. I don't know about you. There's one called Sparkler, which is an irregular white. So there's a Ajuga for you. Mine just happens to be the random kind that sprouts up in your yard, and this gigantic monstrosity. So that's all I have for you on Caitlan's giant bugleweed. Um, if you have it, let me know in the comments what you think about it. What you think about a bugleweed in general. Have you had luck? Has it eaten your entire yard? Has it said, "Feed me, Seymour"? Let me know. Beyond that, in the description for this channel, you'll find a link to the Forage blog, which covers various wild foods you can eat. And in addition to that, we are coming up on the end of the year with this filming of this episode. 52 episodes and then bonus content. Don't worry, 2023 has a great lineup. So, If you haven't, please hit subscribe. And as always, folks, keep them growing. Thanks for watching.